Welcome back, you guys, to What God Did podcast, where we share lovely stories about what God did in our lives, different testimonies. And today we have a very special, beautiful guest, Kaiana. She is a florist, and she is going to share her story of her walk with God. So, hi, Kaiana.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. My name is Kaiana Lewis, and I do own 2 flower shops. I am a florist, and I am 26 years old.
Yeah. Look at that. Small business owner at 26. Give it up. We love it. Yes.
Now, would you mind if we just kind of ease this in, and then can I ask you some this or that questions?
Oh,
Are you
yes.
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. We're going to start with some fun and easy one just to get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
First off, sweet or savory?
Ooh, on a comfy day, savory for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have a special like dish that you like your comfort food?
I'm a rice and lentils girl.
Okay. I love that. I love that. That's simple, it's hearty, it's filling. I love it.
Yes.
Mountains or beach?
Ooh, mountains for sure. Like I
Yeah.
love the beach, but I'm scared of water. So mountains for sure. You get the great views, nice sunlight, all of
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, it's beautiful during the holidays too,
It
right? When like
is.
the snow is coming, and we
Yes.
talk about like we have like Smoky Mountains like close to
Right,
us. So I
yes.
love that. Breakfast or dinner?
Ooh, okay, dinner for sure.
Okay,
'Cause you
tell me
can
more.
eat more.
You can enjoy it.
You're not breaking your fast.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the vibe for dinner is different too.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
the conversations that you have.
Yes.
And the types of gatherings that you have at dinner is so different from breakfast. Are you a summer or winter girly?
Ooh, summer for sure, for
Okay.
sure. Like I have the skincare for the summer is
Okay.
like all glistening and glitter. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
it. I love it. Well, this is perfect because the summer is coming up.
Yes,
You know, it's a little bit
yes.
chilly today.
Which is weird.
Yeah, I know. We're filming this right now in April, and it is like we have like a high of 64, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay, on to getting to know you on a spiritual level.
Mhm.
Do you prefer spontaneous worship or something guided?
Spontaneous always. I mean, I love the guided. I'm for it. There's a place for it. But I
Yeah.
think when you're able to get like a group of people by
Mm-hmm.
the piano and then I was like, oh, remember that song? And then a just song starts playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For sure. I love it. Are you in front of the church or at the back of the church kind of, or sure, in the middle too,
Middle,
I guess.
Yeah. I think most of my life I've been on the platform
Okay.
in front of the church, and I think it's a heavy responsibility that you don't want to become your personality.
Yeah.
So I think being in the back of the church is where I want to be because I think that shows the root of it.
Mm.
And then the expression of it would be on the platform, but the root of it is behind. So which one's my favorite? Which one would I rather?
Which one would you rather?
Okay. Definitely behind, for
Definitely
sure.
behind.
Yeah.
I get it though, and I think it also depends on the season of life you're in,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Would you rather host a potluck or like a gathering with friends? Or I feel like I know this answer, but I'm gonna ask you again. Would you rather host or would you prefer attending and just being a guest?
Yeah, you guys know me so well. Yeah, host.
Yeah. Yes.
Hannah throws the best party.
Yeah, she does throw the
Yes,
best party.
the best potlucks.
Yes. Do you feel like you're naturally like a hostess? Do you have like hostess personality naturally, or do you feel like that is kind of built?
No, I am not a hostess.
Yeah.
I am not. If you saw my sister host a party,
Yeah.
I think she's the hostess because she knows what to do.
Yeah.
I'm just there for the vibes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm there for the cute pictures, the hi, hellos. I don't know what I'm doing for the most part.
You know, we would not have guessed.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, seriously, I would have not.
After attending one of your potlucks
Yeah.
and just kind of seeing how you show up in the Nashville community, would not have guessed that. I love it. My next question is, do you feel like you grow best in a challenged season of life or more reflecting, if that makes sense? Yeah.
I think both. I think you
Okay.
need both.
Sure.
Because I feel like you want to be challenged and then you want to soak in the challenge, and that's like
Yeah.
the reflecting part. I feel like you can't really have one or the other.
Yeah.
But I'm a challenge girly. I'm a practical girly. Like I'm
Yeah.
for it. If I'm reflecting, I kind of feel like I'm waiting, like I'm in the water for no reason. So I like the challenge because it gives me something to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I love that. There's a balance to both.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like full circle.
Right.
You challenge and then you take a step back and you kind of reflect on a response or how God showed up, during that challenging moment. And I guess, so my last question, which we could kind of seep into your story, but do you tend to take the first move and initiate in a season of waiting, or do you tend to wait on God?
That's a good one. No, I'm a control freak. I will initiate.
For sure.
I do full
Aren't we all?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the lesson, right? The lesson is you're not trying to do that. You want to just wait on God and let him kind of move you. Because I feel like if you initiate, you're going to take the wrong step.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, okay, I'm supposed to go out this door. And there was a door in the back that you didn't see.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
God's like, if you just waited,
Yeah.
you would have known.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a story that relates to what you were saying?
Oh, so many. I think I have so many to share. Which one am I going to share? I can share, I guess the one with my companies, I initiated that. At least I thought I did. God had a plan, and I love that.
Yeah.
God had me. But when I first started out my company, I thought I was going to be this big success. I was like, oh yeah, like all of the Instagram videos, I'm going to knock off. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. And I took all of these doors that I thought made sense, and I paid a whole bunch of money to get access. Like I thought I was doing the right thing. And on top of that, I didn't want to walk either, because I was like, God, I'm totally dependent on you. Like I know he wants me to be a full-time florist. So I'm just like, this is going to be the path.
Yeah.
And then the whole time, I fell, crashed, and burned. And then on top of that, I held God to a standard of my expectations of like what I wanted my life to look like. And I'm like, God, you're for this, right? Bless it. Be here for it. And he's like, I didn't subscribe to this.
Right.
And so the whole time I was like initiating and voicing this outcome, and God's just like, no. And so that's why he had to humble me. He had to let me leave my apartment complex, move in with my parents, a whole lot. And I was like devastated.
Yeah.
And I think even in that, God healed a whole bunch of parts that I didn't even know I needed healing on. And then after, I was like, okay, God, I'm ready to listen. Like I'm ready to see what you have and expect me to walk in.
Yeah.
And not me pushing all of the doors open. So
So let me ask, like, you said that you are a control freak, so you initiate.
Yes.
But then obviously God humbled you, was like, you need to wait and listen to me. So how do you check in with yourself to kind of balance that out?
That's a good question. Checking in with myself is like literally mornings. I think the word is like grounding. And it's in the morning. I spend like 2 hours with God, and like the first hour is like just reading, annotating. And then the second hour is me asking questions, me diving into how I relate to this. And then I write a whole bunch. I write a letter to God, and then I write what I read, and a whole bunch of writing. And then I sit for like 5 minutes and stare out the window. And in that moment, I'm just being like, okay, you have plans.
Yeah.
But and in the writing part, I say I surrender my day, I surrender my fears, I surrender this season, I surrender my love life to God, because I don't want to move without him.
Yeah.
And I think, in a normal day, we do. Like life happens, phone calls, oh, I'm late, and you run. But I think that's why that morning and that grounding and that surrendering is so important, because you're able to say, okay, at least it's not my day.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, you're like, okay, let me sit and let me see where God was, because you gave it to him that morning. So even though things didn't end up the way you wanted it to, you still gave them morning to God.
Yeah.
And I think that does something subconsciously.
Absolutely.
It sets the tone for the rest of your day.
Yeah.
It
Right.
really does.
And expectations and
Yeah.
how you handle disappointments or victories.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's a posture that you're
Yeah.
setting for
Yeah.
the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And after a while, you find yourself checking in even throughout the day.
Mm.
Like I did that a while ago and I was like, wait, this never happened before. Like I'll stop and pause
Yeah.
and pray. And I'm just like, what? So, and I love that subconscious learning.
Yes.
All because you started at the beginning and then somehow it trickles into your day. I love it. So yeah.
So speaking of that,
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit. Let's go backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
And you said that you were always kind of part of the church,
Mhm.
right? And you were kind of growing up in that. How did you find your own walk with Christ? Because I do believe that even if you're growing up, you know, your family, your parents or whatever, but unless you have your own personal relationship, you know, you don't really have that strong connection, you know? And I think that along the way, everybody has a different journey and, you know, God kind of connects with you, you know? So like, yeah, share a little bit of your steps with Christ.
Yeah, that's a great question. I love how you framed it because it takes me away from my parents.
Yeah.
I think college, it broke my parent given theology and walk with God, because it's not like because I was, you know, there I had to fend for myself, but I had to learn how I would go to church. I had to learn how I would, you know, get something from the sermon, or, you know, would I go to AY on Fridays?
Right.
You know, like it was just like, what do you want your spiritual life to look like?
Yeah.
And once I figured out that, then it was more so like, okay, what concepts have you learned from your parents that don't really resonate with you anymore? And that was hard. Because it was like pulling lies and truth, you know, like what have your parents kind of instilled in you, even subconsciously, like maybe they didn't say it, but it was kind of put across and then you believed it. So it was like a whole bunch of internal healing. But yeah, college. And I think the overarching thing that I learned was that God loves you imperfectly, messed up, all of the ways that you disappoint humans. God still loves you. And I had to let go because I think I had a big perfectionist in theology. And I think that's why I was always on stage in the church as well, because they wanted someone picture perfect. And I was, you know, from my parents, I was that.
Yeah.
So I had to really let go of those walls and be just like, okay, you can be imperfect.
Yeah.
That's okay. And I'm still struggling with that today.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. But yeah.
Did anything happen in your life where you really saw God?
A whole bunch of times. The one that consistently hits me is when I'm driving. I don't drive well, by the way. Like so every time I drive, I'm just like, oh, thank you, God. You saw that car and I didn't, you know? And I'm like driving off the road and everything. And I'm just like, God is good. God has me. So, you know, you hit a tree, you're fine. God is consistently protecting me there. But I think lately I've also been seeing God in my reading of devotionals. I think before I would say that God doesn't speak to me. But, you know, like, and God just kind of implements stuff through people and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think lately, especially like 3 days ago, I was talking to God about something and I'm like, God, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going on with me.
Yeah.
And I read my devotion and it was exactly what I needed. And I know,
I love the when that happens. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, how did you know where I was?
Yeah.
And how did you know that this chapter was going to be it? And, like, I love it. And so I'm reading the Bible through and it's like I'm currently in 1 Samuel where David is running away from Saul. And he's like going through all these emotions. He had to let go of his bestie, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And he was like so sad, so crying. And then he never saw Jonathan again after that. And I'm just like, oh, me. So yeah, I think, see God mainly my devotionals.
I love that.
It's the little surprises and
Yeah.
and you know the lessons that you can relate to from the stories that are so small, because when we think of David, we don't really remember or associate him to his relationship or his friendship with Jonathan, right? We think of the Goliath, or we think maybe he became king and things like that. But lessons of friendship can easily come from that.
College was kind of your moment where you had to figure out your own walk with God. And then now, fast forward, we're at a place where you have morning devotionals. How long would you, two-part question. So first part is, how long is your devotional? Like, how much time do you devote to God every morning? Because I do believe that we do have to schedule God in and give him his time, right? You can't just wake up, be like, okay, I'm gonna pray for like 5 minutes and then go, you know? So like, what would that time frame look like? And also, how did you get from college to where you are right now in that devotional state?
Beautiful questions. Those are questions I can talk about all day. For the first one, I spend 2-ish hours with the Lord every day.
Wow.
It's a journey. It's become normal. And I don't even think about it anymore, because I think the initial thought was, I was listening to Whitney Phipps, and he was talking about how he made an app, and it's like, you spend time with God, and I'm like, I don't need the app, but I'll take the principle. And then I read Pastor Delarry Snell. I think it's called All the Way In. And that talks about how most Christians only spend 5 minutes in the Word a week. And it ruined me. I was like, oh my goodness, it's me. And then I said, you know what? I bet if I read just 30 minutes, then I think I'll be straight. You know, it's like, let me just do a little, and it kind of built up from there. And now I think what I do is mainly annotate. Like, I find myself getting lost in like the few verses I read, ask a whole bunch of questions, and then highlight. I just color my Bible. And then I write all in the margins and everything, all my thoughts, and then I write the explanation summary inside my journal for the Bible, along with questions. And then I do like my surrender affirmations, my grateful affirmations. And then I go to my other journal and I write a prayer. And I can spend 30 minutes in that prayer journal alone. And I just write out all my worries, everything I'm concerned about, and then the people I want to pray for. And then I stare at the window after that. And that usually gives me about a solid 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And it's crazy for church, though. I think I only spend like an hour, just because I think I'm already going to church. But I feel like as long as I have devotion, that's what matters. And then for life, you said the college to now. Going back to the books I read, Whitney Phipps, but also it was a buildup. It definitely was a buildup. I remember I did like an Instagram post about this, how there's these little books, what are they called? Like, it's like graduation prayers, like, you know, those tiny little books that they just like give you 3 verses and then a prayer. I have like 4 of those books, and they're like really small, and I used to use them when I didn't feel like doing devotion. And that kind of built up the concept of having devotion every morning, because it didn't always have to feel like devotion, like heavy. I could, you know, be mad in the mornings and still read 1 verse and be happy. And then after that, I was like in studying like a whole book. You know, like I wanted to read the book of Ephesians. I wanted to go on a deep study, and I said, okay. So I devoted like a month to that, and then I went back to doing those small devotional books. And then after a while, I was like, you know what, let me dive into another book. And I think I did 1 Corinthians or something. And then after a while, I think January 2023, I told myself, it was like a whole friend thing. We were like, let's read the Bible through. And I was like, yeah. So, you know, Genesis. But I went like super slow. All my friends passed me. I don't know where they are now. I don't know if they finished. But I'm still working on it. And I think that has been what led me consistently through the Bible. Because now I have a consistent regimen now. Like I know what the end goal is to get to Revelations.
Yeah.
So, so it's going to be like, another 3 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, like I have so many sticky notes in my Bible of like what to go back to.
Yeah.
So now I think I have content for the rest of my life on my devotionals.
Yeah.
So I think it's really finding what sticks for you.
So how did you, because I know you running a business and even before then with college, scheduling is time management, right? So how did you, I guess, because as you said, everything is a journey, right? It's a progress. So talk a little bit about that for our audience who actually want to start kind of implementing some steps with God.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you guys are interested in the book, I will find it and I will link it below so that we can get you guys started, because I know diving straight into the Bible can be intimidating, but maybe we can start with the little books. Because like you said, that was a good stepping stone.
Yeah.
So talk about a little bit of how your time management and your because like going from like 5 minutes to 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
That is a process.
Yeah.
So share a little bit of your secret sauce.
Time management. My time management was horrible. Hence the small books.
Yes.
It was like I would wake up 5 minutes before my day started, or maybe I'll just wake up late.
Yeah.
But those 5 minutes that 2 seconds, I put inside those little books. The beginning. And then after that, I think I really wanted to do more.
Yeah.
And so I just woke up earlier. Now I didn't wake up earlier consistently.
Yeah.
But every time I would let me wake up 15, 20 minutes before. And I think as I got more into my CEO role, I think it kind of developed okay, you have to be at places on time.
Right.
You have to do things on time. And I think kind of enveloping that as a person, I think it just kind of seeped into my spiritual life. But I think what helps is also having just a clear-cut routine. I have a routine now and it's solid. It needs to be improved on, but still solid.
So going into detail, what time do you wake up?
I wake up at 5:30 in the morning.
What time do you go to bed?
10:30.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a good, I'm not going to bed at 8:00. I have a life.
Yeah. For a 26-year-old.
So it's not too bad. I think after I do my devotions, I go on a run, and I think that also helps because I have to go out and run at 8. So again, just having that routine, waking up at 5:30, doing my devotions, and then 8:00 start running, and then 9:00 be at work. So it's not, and that's consistent every morning. Do I eat breakfast? No, but I'm going to add it in. we're working. We're getting there. Little bit by little bit. But yeah.
Do you work from home?
I do some days. Yeah. I have a home office that I check all my emails from, or do late stuff in. And then I have a facility place too. So
have you always been a morning person?
Oh, I'm not a morning person.
Because now you are.
Yeah. Good point.
I wouldn't call myself a morning person. If anyone calls me in the morning, you're immediately blocked. I don't phones off. People don't talk to me in the morning, or else I'll just growl.
Yeah. And
I feel like a morning person has to be cheery in the mornings for some reason.
I guess I was talking more because you're definitely not a night owl.
Right.
Right. So what are you? A wolf?
I love it.
There is, right? There is a wolf. There's the night owl. There's
the morning
both
something.
Werewolves hunt at night though. Werewolves? I don't know. You said human.
One of those tests, personality tests, or but it basically labels you and lets you know where your circadian rhythm is, and you know, so like what time. And so some people are wolves, and wolves basically are kind of on their own rhythm. But they get up around like 7:30, but then they don't go to bed like super late, but it's just kind of, it might be complete.
I'm for it. That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to take the test.
Yeah.
Like a chronotype, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. The reason why I'm asking this, because I know that a lot of people who are night owls, and then they start trying to implement those things in the morning to transition, right?
Okay. Yes.
But starting devotionals or reading the Bible from the morning can be really difficult in the sense that you're still tired and you tend to fall asleep while you read or while you pray because you're still not completely awake. So I guess what tips do you have for people who want to start implementing it in the morning, but they can't stay awake? Like, how do you get yourself up, like, mentally to connect with God?
Two things. I think one, if you're a night owl, you can have devotions at night. And that's what I was doing before.
Oh, okay.
So my night routine was beautiful. I would have like a spa night thing going on. And then during like my whole face mask thing, I would be reading, highlighting, diving into the world. And then in the morning, I would read my small devotional books. So I think that's allowed.
Yeah.
And then even in my morning routine now, even though I spend like 2 hours with God in the morning, at night, it's like sloppy. I'm like, let me read one verse. Just go to bed. And so I kind of started like coloring ahead of time my chapter that I would read in the morning at night. So that way I'm not just reading one verse a day, but I'm having like some type of connection with God that lasts a little longer than 2 seconds. Yeah. And I'm in God's word. So I think you have to play it on where you're at. And then if you do want a strong morning routine, then you're going to have to start going to bed earlier. But while you're a night owl, you can still get 2 hours in at night. And that's okay. Because you can ground yourself at night to prepare for the next morning. I know when I was reading like CEO success advice, they would say plan out your day the night before. Yeah. So technically as a night owl, you can plan out your devotional or spiritual day the night before.
I love that. You're taking tips from being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And kind of putting that into your devotional life. That is very interesting.
Yeah, because to me, it's one and the same. They told me in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to develop yourself because you can only go as far as you are yourself. And so I took that spiritually because who am I? I am the child of God. So I would develop my spiritual life to match my CEO lifestyle.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I love that. I think that there are so many people who actually struggle with kind of bringing those two together. So maybe you should make a course. No, because I love how you're implementing, different things that you've learned and bringing it together, especially with God's word and your devotionals and everything. Have you always done devotionals since you were a kid, or was this something that you developed in college?
I would say maybe hinted to in college. I ran a girl Bible study group in college, and I'm really bad at organizing, planning, prepping. It's bad. But I would try to pull a verse like last minute and like study it. And I think that was kind of the beginning of me studying God's word, and I loved it. Yeah. Like those 5 minutes of trying to put something together was heaven to me. Yeah. And I just kind of did more of it as I was leading out. And then I preached a little bit and I had to dive into the word more. And then it was funny. God said, write sermons, even though you don't have any sermons coming up. Oh. And that was kind of the beginning of me writing little Bible studies for other people. And it kind of turned into my own devotion. And even on Instagram, I still did these like challenges where I would read and then challenge myself throughout the day to kind of keep what I read in my brain. And all of those things were kind of building me up to have a better relationship with God and writing things down and stuff.
So we talk about like not hearing God's voice, but like recognizing God's voice, right? Mm-hmm. Because like, as God said, like my sheep know my voice, right? And they follow me. Have you always kind of recognized God's voice, or did that develop throughout your own path with God?
Yeah, I think I'm still bad at hearing God's voice.
Yeah.
I would say the only thing that we have in life, the only thing we can physically do is listen, because that's as much as sheep do. Like sheep doesn't do anything else. Hey, do you hear the shepherd calling? Please go. But I'm bad at it in the concept of, I think people have like some discernment. People have like intuition. I don't have that at all. I pray for it.
What is okay? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. It just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Do you know your gift from God?
I do.
Okay, let's talk about that next.
Okay.
But I want you to finish. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I totally.
Wait, what were we?
Discernment.
Oh,
Discernment,
yes. Yeah, I think people have discernment in all these things that kind of allow them to have that connection of where to go.
Yeah.
And I don't have that. I a control freak again. And I'm very much, I will open this door because where else am I supposed to go?
Yeah.
I don't like waiting either. So what I have developed is kind of tiptoeing. And being like, okay, God, are you over here? Are you over here? And then he would correct me. And I kind of shied away from that. I kind of been sitting and just being like, God, please talk to me for like a good 6 months. But I'm getting back to tiptoeing because I think there's faith in that. Like, I think there's beauty in saying, I'm going to walk and pray for this and be open for correction and disruption from God. Yes. And I want that because I don't want to be scared, especially as a CEO doing things. I can't just sit on my
you have
feet.
to make moves.
I have to. Yeah. So I'm getting back into that.
Yeah, let's talk about your gifts.
Yes. Yeah. My gifts is shepherding and exhortation. Those are the top two. I think teaching and like the little scattered one, every time you take your test, it's like a little different. But those two have been top consistently.
How did you find your gift?
I took a test.
It's a spiritual gifts test,
yes.
right?
Oh, is
yes.
that the one? I need to take that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's like 9. Well, maybe there's more than 9, but there's like a lot of different ministries. There's like hosting. There's like shepherding. Yeah.
Do you know what your gift is?
I have taken it, but I forgot. So I will need to take it again. Yeah. And I think that is so like, and I think even if you have a gift, like I think it's so important to kind of like reflect and check in again, because in different seasons of your life, maybe you have more capacity to do some more shepherding, or maybe you have more capacity to be a helper, or like excel in other ministries. Not saying that just to save my butt, because I don't remember, but right, but in like different seasons of your life, like you have the capacity to do different things and to give or to be poured into.
100%.
But spiritual gifts test, we should take it.
And we'll also link it below so that y'all can take it too.
There's so many tests nowadays. There's the MBTI, there's the Enneagram, there is like the spiritual gifts test. There's so many to help you refine, what your gift is, or how you approach leadership, or how you grow, how you are being taught, things like that. So very cool. A lot of resources nowadays.
Yeah, those tests are needed. Yeah. Because I was reading something and they said the more aware you are about how you move, or like what you will like instinctively kind of built with, the more you're able to see where the enemy is going to get you. Yeah. And then also, where God is guiding you to, because God put those gifts in you from when you were born. Yeah. And he has a plan for those gifts. Like I know someone, because I memorize all of my friends' gifts because they forget. So I will get y'all's and I will make you remember. But one of my friends' gifts is forgiveness.
Oh, wow.
I was like, the Lord is going to put some things in your way.
Yeah, that is going to be hard.
The enemy is going to put some things in your way.
Exactly. And if you didn't know that, you would not think that was your superpower.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a gift.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
And then the other one was faith. And it was so funny to see his reaction when he got faith. He was like, what was that? Like, how's faith a superpower? Or like, how is that like helpful? And I understand it because I think people are used to the normal ones. Like, oh, you're preaching, you're teaching, or you're helping, like the ones that you visibly see. But all of these things like mercy or tithing or forgiveness or, faith, you're just kind of like, those are like passive. Like, what is that even, how is that supposed to help anybody?
It is expected for everyone to have mercy, to forgive.
Exactly. So they're just like, why is that my spirit? How is that even a spiritual gift?
Right.
And then when I look back on my friends and I'm like, wait, your faith is supposed to bolster other people's faith. Like your overwhelming well of faith. And people can go to you and fill up their buckets. And I'm like, that's your superpower. He needs to watch this because I haven't told him that.
No, but I think that's such a strong gift.
Yeah, exactly. It's so strong, but he doesn't know. He has no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to have a group of friends that have different gifts so you can empower each other, right? When you have moments where it is hard to forgive and so you seek guidance from this friend whose superpower is forgiveness.
Exactly.
Or when it's so hard to be merciful to someone who has wronged you. I mean, like, what a privilege it is to have a group of friends that you can lean on to with different challenges.
So how have you been using your gift?
I feel like my gifts are really interesting. I think encouraging is kind of easier for me. I think I do that in a group or like, with my friends, like I'll call out what I see.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're super patient, you're super helpful, or like, I see you working really hard and it's stretching your capacity, or just finding things like the faith concept and being able to say, you're amazing. I think that's something I do a lot, but when it comes to shepherding, I think that's really interesting because I'm like, shouldn't a pastor have that?
Yeah.
Not like a 26-year-old girly that does flowers. Like, how's that equating to my life? But I'm finding myself doing things like this. I'm finding myself in platforms or in spaces to where people don't need to be, given the Bible, but people just need to know that they're in a community.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really what shepherding is. It's not necessarily preaching, because that's not the gift. Yeah. But it's more so having a whole bunch of sheep and saying, I got you. Yeah. And so I'm striving to do that. I want to do that. I feel like when I have my house, it'd be easier because I could say come. And I live so far. Yeah. But over time, I'm trying to figure out what that looks like more and more.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of the word shepherd too, I think of like influence.
Yeah.
Someone who has influence. And I think that is very much you, as an entrepreneur, as someone who's so active in a community and now being so active, she vlogs. I know you post content on Instagram, like, you are harnessing influence within your community without realizing. So that is your gift. You're using your gift.
That's crazy.
I mean, in just ways that, sure, it's maybe outside of the traditional spaces where, like you mentioned, like a pastor shepherding his sheep, his church, but I think in the modern world, like we can definitely use social media and our lived experience to shepherd other people, because there are going to be other 20-year-olds who are wanting to start a business and learning how to implement and how to invite God in that space, right? Like, business is so much of accomplishments and what I can do and how hard I work. And sometimes I feel like we forget that God is the one giving us these blessings.
Yeah. 100%.
So just affirming you a little
Thank
bit.
you. I appreciate it. I'm a what's the affirmation girly, so I appreciate it.
Influence.
Yes.
Thank you.
So speaking of that, we want to give Kaiana the time to kind of plug in her platform so that if you guys want to follow and also be her sheep or just need some guidance into your devotionals or into your walks with Christ. So take it away.
You can follow me on Instagram where you probably find the most of my devotionals and stuff on there. It's Kaiana Lewis, Kaiana. And you'll find me on there. If you want to watch my vlogs, they're mainly on my YouTube channel, which is called She Is Courage. They're really fun. You'll see this behind the scenes. And then if you want to follow, I guess, like buy flowers or just be into my flowers, I also vlog on there, and it's my YouTube channel for that is Earth Garden Flower Shop. So yeah.
And you have 2 stores now?
I have 2 stores. So the other one's
Wow.
Sentiments Designs Flower Shop, and that one's interesting. I've only had it for like 11 months. And I'm still getting, it's like an older community. So I'm like, man, I have to be like nostalgic now. I have to like take pictures and like have it print out. So it's interesting. It's interesting kind of meeting the old people where they're at. I probably shouldn't call them old people.
More
Yeah, old
mature,
folks, yeah.
mature.
Golden age.
Yeah.
Golden, yeah,
age
mature,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
audiences.
I mean, I love it. What a girl boss. When I first met
Yes.
you, you only had like a store, and now you
Right.
have 2.
Right,
Wow.
crazy,
It's
crazy. I didn't want it. I did not.
Yeah.
But the Lord had plans,
Yes.
and I'm
God's
just
blessing.
trying to hold it together.
So as we wrap it up, by the way, we will plug everything in the description so you guys can find that. So I want to ask 2 ending questions.
Okay.
The first one is, you have so much going on.
Mhm.
How do you manage that with, also devoting, giving God 2 hours of your morning? Kind of talk about that. And then the second thing is, to any viewers out there, if you can give any advice to somebody who is interested in God, who wants to, they don't know where to start, or any guidance that you think would be helpful in their walk with Christ, especially in the beginning steps.
Yeah. For the first one, I don't manage it. I definitely, it falls through my hands.
Yeah.
But that's why that morning devotional is so important. Because when I get up and I sit at my computer, I'm just like, okay, God, give me customers. So, and then everything else kind of falls into place. I have like a great community that supports me and helps me out. So yeah, I kind of just do what I can. I'm a stressed out girly most of the time.
You did not. I would have never. You're so chill. My goodness.
The Lord keeps it. He keeps the relationship going. He's like, hey, calm down, chill out. Like, it's not that serious. And I'm like, great, thank you. Okay.
Check.
Right. And then when it comes to advice, when you're walking on the path with God, I would just say sing songs. Yeah, because that's what kind of got me into believing. Is just singing songs. My go-to song is like "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus."
Oh, I love that.
Right? And I think because you already have the drive, you already want to, your heart posture is already accepting it. God's meeting you where you are. I think it's just trusting that God is meeting you where you are. And if you want to trust God more, sing songs to kind of get it into your brain. And then as you walk with God, he'll invite you to do things, see things, he'll change your perspective to where you're just like, oh man, I trust. I might not understand what God is doing right now, but I trust like all the time. And even in those moments of doubt, which you will always have, you sing the song. So yeah.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to wrap up with a prayer. Eliza, do you want to take it away?
Sure. Our Father in heaven, like, thank you so much for the gift of friendship, especially our friendship with Kaiana. Thank you so much for just giving us time where we can just talk about you and learn what it means to trust you, even in seasons where everything is going well and there's so much joy in our life, and in seasons where it gets a little bit dicey and it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I pray that whoever's listening, that they will be able to take something away from Kaiana's story and testimony, and just her discipline, and how she continues to nurture her relationship with you. I'd like to lift up her businesses into your hands, and that you continue to give her wisdom and peace, and just and understanding as she learn what it means to be an entrepreneur, and also to be a child of, and to continue to be a child of God. Thank you so much for everything. It's just my prayer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining us. What a beautiful story. Amazing. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.